What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Here we are at $83,500 right now, okay? If we're looking at the price, I want to start off the video by saying I don't believe that we move any higher than this, right? I think that this little bounce right here, dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it, I don't know if it is a dead cat bounce. I don't know how you could call it a dead cat bounce because from a low to a high, you literally tipped right off your golden ratio and bounced here, and then here you closed right at your golden ratio and bounced and hit your 1272. You know, I wouldn't call that a dead cat bounce. A dead cat bounce, for those of you who are unaware, is where you bounce in an area that you're just dropping, right? And you don't necessarily need a reason to bounce, but it's just because you've dropped so much, nothing moves in a straight line, right? Dead cat bounce, I don't know. This to me is more methodical than just some kind of dead cat bounce, but whatever you want to call it, I don't care. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is a dead cat bounce, but to some degree, I'm expecting that we don't go any higher than this. If we do go higher, enough of the shenanigans, enough of the semantics. If we do go higher, that's fine. I can be wrong, and if I'm wrong, we still likely go lower. I want to be very clear. Just because Bitcoin moves up, and I don't think that it does, but just because Bitcoin moves up to 88,000, we're at 83,000 now, or 90,000, or even moves up to 91,000, 91.9K. Just because it does any of that doesn't mean that this low is the low and that we're not going lower. To validate that it is the low, what I need to see, what I think we all need to see, is that we close above $91,000. We close above this red line here. If you can close on a daily time frame above that level, great. But if you get above there on a daily time frame and then you come back down and close below, that leaves the door open still to go lower. You know, I will say closing above the 382 will start to get me excited, maybe even nervous that we're not going to go lower anymore. 91K will absolutely validate this as a low. And I shouldn't even say nervous. I'm fully deployed in the markets, you guys. I have all my money. All of it is in crypto. If we do what I'm not expecting to do and we just rip from here, cool, fine. And to be fair, not retrospectively, I don't know. Realistically speaking, we're in very high areas of fear. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of comments on x.com and on my own YouTube channel talking about how people are selling and they're out of the markets and are waiting for this next dip. It reminds me of what people were saying back at the highs over here. Whenever like I'm going to sell, I'm going to take profits once we get this next pump. You know, it's always that final dip, just one more dip. That's oftentimes whenever you do find support and you continue to run. So it's possible that I could be wrong, but I don't think that I will be until we close above $91,000. I'm not convinced that we are moving up. I'm very convinced that we're in the middle of this bullish butterfly pattern, which again would likely, and I know it sounds silly, but look it up, bullish butterfly harmonic pattern, butterfly harmonic pattern. You'll see what I'm talking about. It looks just like this, right? From a low to a high, down just like this. It literally looks just like this, and it can move like this, whatever. The target area that we would achieve is something between 74,000 to 69.2K. Over the days, over the weeks, probably over the days, I should say, I've given my reasons as to why I think that we will stop somewhere between 72 to 73K specifically within this zone. But anything, this kind of looks like a Among Us character, doesn't it? I didn't even mean to do that, but it looks like an Among Us character. 74K to 69K could be where we go. I'm calling for C-Zar zone specifically. The little eyeball here is at 72 to $73,000 itself. We're at 83.6K now. I'm not expecting, and I'm saying this very clearly because some people have a hard time understanding what I'm saying. I talk about all these numbers. I want to be clear. I don't want to be misunderstood, but I don't want to be misunderstood. If we do move up from here and we do something that I'm not expecting, we continue to move up, that's okay. We can still go lower. In fact, actually, I will say it's not okay that we move up because it's just prolonging the inevitable. Unless this is the low, unless I'm wrong, but I would assume that even if we move up higher, it's no cause to celebrate, not until we close above 91K. Until then, 74K to 69,000 is on the table. Very specifically, 73 to 72 is where I'm expecting us to go. As we're moving up, we're doing so without volume. All of these bigger levels of volume, I guess except for this one here, are coming in the form of selling. All right, we've moved up, and I will say that the 4-hour RSI does look somewhat bullish right here. Whenever you break a downtrend, that's nice, but just because you break a downtrend does not mean you have to move up immediately. If we look at this time right here, where you had a downtrend right there, you broke out of it here, no doubt about it, you broke out of it right here. Did you move lower in the price? The answer is yes, you did. You did move lower in the price. Absolutely, you did. So can we move lower from here? Absolutely, we can. It wouldn't surprise me at all. In fact, I wonder, where are we relative to this high to low here? Right at the 0.5, kind of obscure. Maybe it should be this high to low. Kind of obscure too. There's reasons to believe that we could go higher, guys. I'm not expecting we go higher, but if we do, again, if we go to 87.5 to 89,000, it's no cause to celebrate until we're closing above 91K on a daily time frame, okay? Once we do move down to 72 to 73K or lower, or just above there, who says it has to be at either of those areas? It could be outside of it. 74 to 69K is the technical area. Once we're done with that, we will likely continue on our merry way on this overall fib extension journey that we're doing, right? Finding resistance at the 1886, finding support in between the 100 and the 886, we will likely rip all the way up to our 2886 3113 area, right? Oftentimes, and not always, but sometimes whenever you see moments like this where you find resistance at your 1886, you come back down, you find support at your 886 area, you will continue this kind of serendipity in the fibs, and you will see a move that takes you up to the next 886 area. And do you have to stop right at the 886? Did you stop there before? No, you wicked a little bit through it. Do you have to stop right at this 886? No, I'm expecting you to stop a little bit above it. So if you were to go above 160K, what's that next area? 175K, somewhere in here. Whoops, that's I guess, yeah, you could stop anywhere in there. Who knows? You could stop higher. But 175K, 160K, I made it orange for Bitcoin, right? Because it's the color of Bitcoin, BTC. That's the money zone, man. That's the money zone right there. If we take this from a high to a low, from the last bull cycle high to the bear cycle low right here, and we look at where our golden ratio is, the 1618, it's right at the top of this money zone. It agrees very well with that. So the notion that after we go to 72 to 73K and rip from there, our next stopping point will be at about 160 to $175,000 is very real. I think that we will achieve this low either by the end of this week, which is what I was hoping for, but man, the more we move up, the longer it's just going to be prolonged. I hope I'm wrong and we are just moving up right now and we don't have to move lower. That'd be great. But the more we move up right now, in my eyes, it's just prolonging the inevitable downside. I just wish it would happen like this. I wish we would just drop about 10K or more from here overnight, and maybe my wish will come true. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But whenever it comes to the high, very specifically, I am expecting that to happen by the end of May. Right? These time frames keep getting pushed back because we have not made the move yet. Once we make the move, it'll likely take about, I think, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, somewhere in that kind of time frame. It could be the end of April if we move up faster. It could be, I accept that, but likely it'll be sometime in the end of May. Right? That's my expectation. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. I've done a lot of talking tonight. I'll probably just end it there. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I want to look at the ribbon real quick. I want to look at the LRO too, actually. You guys can stick around if you want to do that. So yes, with the weekly ribbon, living in it like this, we oftentimes, if you're living in the ribbon, you only find support and start to move higher once you get below the ribbon. So we have to get below it, and that would take us below 75K. I believe we go there. It would make sense. Let's see. Just like here, you're below the ribbon now, but you start living in it. You have to, before you find resistance and go lower, you have to get above the ribbon. Here, when we found support, we're living in the ribbon. You had to find support below the ribbon before you moved up, right? Living in it does not mean bouncing off it. When you bounce off it like that, that's cool, right? When you live in it, you got to go below it. It doesn't mean that you have to cross the ribbon bearish, and that doesn't mean you have to do this either. It's just generally how I've observed this interaction with the ribbon. So it would make sense that we go lower. But overall, the weekly ribbon is bullishly postured, very bullishly postured. From a 3-day time frame, I think that we're fine as long as, I would say, let's see, sometime this month, as long as by the end of the month, Bitcoin's above $92,000, I think we'll be fine on the 3-day ribbon, so that's fine. The daily time frame is looking bearish, yes, and that's all that's kind of relevant there. Let's look at one more group of indicators, then we can end this thing, okay? I'm going to delete a couple of these. I keep saying I'm going to just get rid of them. I need to just make it more simple. Look at the daily time frame. This MACD is always rigged, man. It's just so freaking zoomed in. There we go. The MACD is showing some bullish divergence. The oscillators are showing some, they're not showing bullish divergence, but a double bottom, that's fine. Bullish divergence on the daily time frame is fine, yes. LRO showing some reversions, but they've been wrong lately. We're really in a downtrend. That's what this is. That's what this blue line's telling us. We're in a downtrend, breaking above 100 and $6,000 is going to be a big deal, and obviously it would be. I mean, we'd be looking for new all-time highs at that point. The LRO is more helpful on a short-term time frame. Right now, the LRO is saying we're in an uptrend. That's what the green line means down here. This teal line means as long as we are above $80,000, $80,600. I suppose I could be wrong, but I think that we will break below it. Once we break below 80.5, 80.6K, that will likely indicate that we are going lower. And make no mistake, right? The way that I look at this is with the bigger line, you have a more dominant downtrend, right? You're starting an uptrend relative to this, but it's a lot weaker. You're in an overall prevailing downtrend still. So to break this, you have to get above where? Above 91K, close above $91,000. Again, that number keeps coming up. What about the 1 hour time frame? See, on the shorter term time frames, you're in a more prevailing uptrend, but that doesn't mean anything, right? The longer term time frames are prevailing bearish. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not expecting to go higher, but even if we do, it's no cause for celebration yet. Inevitably, we have to break above 91K before we know if we're going any higher. I got nothing else to say. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.